The NTV Sunday Evening News Hour with Tony Marie Wiseman and Larry James.
Good evening, I'm Michael Connors. Larry J. is off this evening. Also coming up tonight, Carolyn Stokes will take us on a tour of some hidden graveyards in St. John's.
In the weather forecast for the island portion of the province, looks as though we're going to see some scattered showers straight through to the end of the week. Labrador, some areas may see a little bit of clearing. We'll tell you more about the forecast in detail a little bit later, but right now, here is Michael with our top story. Michael?
Thank you, Tony. It could be the most ambitious environmental platform in the history of the country, and it could lead to a massive restructuring of the tax system. The federal Liberals plan to make the next election about climate change with a pledge to introduce carbon taxes. The question is, how will voters react to the way it hits their pocketbooks?
It's an issue considered synonymous with youth, so the Liberals used an outing with the youth wing of their party in Bay Bulls as a backdrop to introduce their plan to the voters of Newfoundland and Labrador. Ontario MP Navdeep Bains says climate change is the #1 issue of concern for young people.
As a young Canadian, as a young member of Parliament, I feel that this is a very important initiative. It's about taking responsibility. It's about taking responsibility for the #1 issue facing our generation, and that's the environment.
If they form the next government, the Liberals will impose a carbon tax on fossil fuels. At first, $10 for every ton of carbon dioxide emitted. After 4 years, that will rise to $40 for every ton. Meanwhile, the Liberals will cut income taxes and provide other incentives to balance out the rising costs. The idea is to entice people away from using forms of energy that pollute and toward using forms of energy that do not. This environmental policy was the central message of Stéphane Dion's leadership bid. Deputy Leader Michael Ignatieff was in the province this weekend to promote the plan.
We're dealing with an issue of energy poverty. That is, we're the only party that's got specific offsets to help people who are having particular difficulty with energy bills. A specific example is seniors. A senior who's on a fixed income is going to get a substantial increase in the guaranteed income supplement to cushion the impact of those energy costs when they're filling up their fuel tank this winter. That kind of thing, we're the only party that's saying rising energy costs are hitting Canadians in different ways. It's having a differential impact. And we're trying to identify and pick off all the communities that are going to be hurt by rising energy costs and do something for them.
The Liberals say the plan will be revenue neutral for the government. Whether it's revenue neutral for taxpayers is another matter. Under the plan, the cost of home heating fuel will go up by 11 cents a litre. The cost of diesel will go up by 7 cents a litre. Gas prices will not go up, as the existing federal tax already covers carbon emissions. The Liberals are promising targeted incentives for seniors, parents, and businesses that are vulnerable to high energy prices. The Liberal platform calculates that most families will save money, but they can't guarantee everyone will.
Is it possible that individuals are not going to end up paying more for the home heat as opposed to by saving more taxes?
It is conceivable, but we have worked very, very hard to make sure that almost every Canadian benefits.
Federal NDP leader Jack Layton was in St. John's on Friday. He says that raising taxes on diesel will increase the cost of public transit and discourage people from taking the bus.
The proposal of Mr. Dion will add, we estimate, $352,000 more over the next 4 years to the cost of running public transit. Well, that's going to mean higher fares or less service, and it'll certainly mean fewer people taking the transit. So how does that help the environment?
Jack is an artful inventor of scary statistics. I'm not going to get into a debate with Jack about, we have made it very clear that, remember, we're the party that came up with the New Deal for cities and communities. Previous Liberal governments have pumped money into public transport here and across the country.
From an environmental point of view, the plan is an easy sell. From an economic point of view, it'll be much more difficult. Voter reactions could be put to the test this fall if there is an election, but even Mr. Ignatieff couldn't say for sure if that will happen.
Before he was deputy leader of the Liberal Party, Michael Ignatieff was a professor of human rights at Harvard University. So it's no surprise that the controversy over the hiring of a new president for MUN hit close to his heart. This weekend, Mr. Ignatieff made his own statement in defense of university autonomy.
The issue has gotten as much attention nationally as it has locally. Education Minister Joan Burke's intervention in the hiring of a new president for MUN has shocked the academic world. Deputy Liberal leader Michael Ignatieff did not want to talk about the specific political issues involved in the MUN case, but he did speak broadly about the importance of autonomy for universities.
Speaking just as a former professor at Harvard, and not as a politician for a minute, if you allow me, because it's not appropriate for a federal politician to intervene in a provincial matter. I just say as a former academic that academic freedom is extremely important. It's what makes world-class institutions. The former president of Memorial made this a world-class institution by safeguarding the independence of Memorial as an institution. It's an institution that Canadians can all be proud of. And let's leave the university to make these choices, and I'm sure it'll make the choice wisely.
NDP leader Lorraine Michael joined the chorus this weekend, calling for Joan Burke to be removed from the education portfolio. In an opinion piece in the Telegram on Friday, former university vice president Evan Simpson said this is just the latest incident eroding MUN's autonomy. It's a process that started with greater government control over the budget, continued with the Premier's intervention into the future of Sir Wilfrid Grenfell College, and is now culminated with the Education Minister hiring the new president. He even drew an allusion to the sprung greenhouse scandal that brought down the last Tory government in the 1980s. Dr. Simpson argued that in the same way governments no longer second-guess the private sector by selling cucumbers, they should not second-guess the internal governance of the university.
I just say that I think it's very important for academic freedom to be respected. It's the principle that makes universities excellent. And the university, its faculty, its staff, its qualified people should be trusted to make the right choice for the province and for the university.
In other news, police have rearrested a man who briefly